everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel Juliet McNeil Crafts. So today we are doing our take 5. I will give you the prompts first. So we have blue and silver, something out of your comfort zone, die cuts, drips, and use a medium that you don't use often. So I am on voiceover today because I filmed this the day that my sound went really funky. I was just showing you there that what I had decided to do was to stitch in my journal, and this was a medium that I don't use often and something out of my comfort zone. What I want to try and do with this piece is to have lots of texture but to also have lots of white space, because I tend to sort of ram my pages full of colour. So this was different to me, it was out of my comfort zone, and so that's what I chose to do with that. Now I didn't actually show the stitching on camera because you wouldn't have seen anything, but what I have done is done stitching detail, which you'll see more when there's actually colour on the page. At the minute you can't see it at all. I've also got my new Art by Marlene stencil, and what I'm doing here is I've got the Pretty Gets Gritty texture paste, and I am just putting that through there. I've kind of also made sure that I'm covering 3 areas of my page to cover the rule of threes and to make it aesthetically pleasing, and I'm trying to squeeze as many of those little dots on as I can because, you know, I like dots and I like circles. So I leave that to dry, hopefully fairly soon, because I'm running out of pattern. I'm not used to doing these voiceovers. And yeah, I am then going to start adding some colouring. I was just neatening up the spine there so that I didn't end up with spiky bits in my spine. Because the colourway is blue and silver, I've pulled out my Jane Davenport paints and I'm actually putting water onto the paper. I realised that I wished I'd sort of gessoed it first, because although this is watercolour paper, it's more of a cotton based watercolour paper, so you don't get the same movement as you would with like a hot or cold press. So yeah, I always find that ends up catching me out, and it caught me out on this particular occasion. But what I was doing was putting water on first to try and get the paint to move a little bit more, and I use both the, I think it's 70s eyeshadow and butterfly are the two colours. So I'm tipping my book up now because I'm also wanting to create the drip element of the prompts. So I'm just sort of really loading the paint up here, adding plenty of water at the top there, and just trying to get it moving. I think at some point I will get my spray bottle out as well, just to sort of really get that moving. If there's any strange noises, it's because my cat decided to nip in and out whilst I was doing the voiceover. So if there's a fairy tinkling in the background, that's her cat collar. So now I'm sort of loading the extra paint on and really sugaring the book so that we can get a bit of drippage. I do like drippage on a page. And as I said, my aim for this one was not to sort of fully cover the page. I see so many mixed media pages that I absolutely love, and there's loads of interest on it, but also loads and loads of white space. And as I was flicking through my journal the other day, I was really thinking, oh, I have to try this. So when the prompts came through, it was like, right, perfect opportunity to try this, because you've been wanting to do it for ages and never got round to it. So this is my opportunity now. Now the darker colours going in, and it's really going to help that pattern to pop. This is as I said, an Art by Marlene stencil, and I really like it. You've got the rose, which causes a lovely softness, but it's also next to some geometric shapes, and I love that. I love it. It's sort of traditional and quirky all in one, so completely suits my style and my personality. That was me just checking to see what damage it was doing to the other pages, but thankfully I didn't have anything on the back, so we're okay. It just means that whenever I tackle that page, it will be going blue, but that's fine. It takes away the fear of the blank page. So it's all dry now, and to add the silver part of the blue and silver colour combination, I'm bringing in my Pebeo gilding wax. I'm just popping it in my lid to try and get, I was a bit heavy handed when I first put it on, so I'm just sort of trying to lighten the touch a little bit to get that all ready. And there we go. So we're going to pop that there, and then also because this is Pebeo, it's a furniture grade. I love this stuff. I've honestly had it for years and I've barely used any of it. It gives really good coverage because obviously you're used to covering big pieces of furniture, so it has to. And it also buffs up to a really nice sheen, which I think makes it quite different to any of the gilding waxes that you find in general on the craft market. So that's me just buffing that up now. Then I'm adding the die cut element. I've got a little die cut from Clever Prints, and I just decided to almost create like a little fancy tab. So I end up gluing this down first. As always, I was having issues with my glue, so I had to cut away and come back. Wouldn't be me if I didn't have a video where I was fighting with my glue. No different here, even on speed up. So I also decided to staple it in just to add a little bit of extra texture, but also it adds to the silver prompt. I didn't quite like the angle with which that staple went in, so I did it again. So yeah, just to add a bit of texture, and I think it'll look nice on the profile of the book as well. So it's me. We cannot do a page without some form of doodly border. I like a doodly border, but it's also, as you know, a trick of the eye. It helps to draw the eye into the page. It helps to focus people looking on the actual page of your work. So I got my Jane Davenport pen, and again, this pen wrote over texture paste, watercolour, gilding wax. It is an amazing pen. It seriously just writes over everything. I've yet to find something that this pen does not write over. I love it. So that's me putting my doodly border on. I know our Kyra likes a doodly border too, so I'm sure there'll be one on her page. I'll be popping over later today to find out. So now I'm just flicking through my Tim Holtz sentiments to get some, and I think I'm trying to remember that I've put something like happen, what have I got there? Expecting happen plan or something like that, or growth. Yeah, there you go. Expecting grow. Oh, it's a mystery to me. Happen. There you go. Those were words that sort of jumped out to me as I was doing the page. I think because it was out of my comfort zone, so I was kind of thinking it's like happening now, it's helping me with creative growth, all of that sort of thing. I think that was kind of what was in my head, just a bit more sketching to emphasise it. And then finally I have got out my gouaches, and I've got some silver paint, and I have done some splitter splatters, and I like to turn my page because it helps them to be more random looking, I find. So please do check out what all the other lovely ladies have done, and I'll see you soon.